The roar of engines filled the air as I stepped onto the grounds of the auto show, my heart pounding with excitement. I had been looking forward to this day for weeks, and now, surrounded by gleaming metal and the hum of anticipation, I felt a rush of adrenaline. The exhibition hall was packed with enthusiasts, each as eager as I was to witness the latest innovations in automotive design. As I made my way through the crowd, the energy was palpable. Suddenly, a wave of excitement rippled through the spectators. I turned to see what had captured their attention and caught sight of a sleek, futuristic vehicle rolling onto the makeshift track. The car, a stunning new model from one of the top manufacturers, was a vision of modern engineering. All sharp lines and aerodynamic curves, painted in a lustrous shade of silver that glinted under the overhead lights. The announcer's voice boomed over the loudspeakers, detailing the car's specifications. A powerful engine, advanced aerodynamics, and cutting-edge technology that made it one of the most anticipated releases of the year. The demonstration was about to begin. I found a spot with a good view and watched as the driver revved the engine, the car emitting a throaty growl that sent shivers down my spine. The anticipation built as the car poised at the starting line, and then, with a burst of speed, it shot forward like a bullet from a gun. The acceleration was breathtaking, the car slicing through the air with a grace that seemed almost otherworldly. My eyes were glued to the track as the car navigated sharp turns and straightaways, its tires gripping the asphalt with precision. It was a dance of power and elegance, the vehicle responding seamlessly to the driver's commands. I couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the harmony between man and machine, a testament to the remarkable advancements in automotive technology. As the demonstration came to a close, the car slowed and rolled to a stop amid thunderous applause from the crowd. My heart was still racing, and I couldn't wipe the grin off my face. The sheer exhilaration of witnessing such a display was unlike anything I'd experienced before. I took a moment to compose myself, still buzzing from the excitement. The auto show was just beginning, and there were countless more marvels to explore. But as I wandered through the exhibits, I couldn't shake the feeling that this day was going to be special in more ways than one. Little did I know it was only the start of an adventure that would change my life forever. The auto show was buzzing with energy, and my mind was still reeling from the thrilling demonstration I had just witnessed. As I navigated through the crowd, weaving between clusters of excited spectators and gleaming displays, I found myself drawn to a particularly striking vintage car exhibit. I was so engrossed in admiring the polished chrome and intricate details of a classic Mustang that I didn't notice someone approaching from the opposite direction. Suddenly, I felt a gentle bump, and as I turned, I found myself looking into the eyes of a tall, handsome man. He had an easy smile and a look of genuine curiosity that mirrored my own. "Oh, I'm so sorry," I exclaimed, stepping back slightly. "I didn't see you there." He laughed, a warm and inviting sound. "No worries at all. I was pretty distracted myself. These cars are just incredible, aren't they?" I nodded, my initial embarrassment quickly fading. "Absolutely. I've always had a thing for classic Mustangs. There's just something about them." He extended his hand. "I'm James, by the way." "Catherine," I replied, shaking his hand. "Nice to meet you, James." "Likewise," he said, his smile widening. "So are you here for the whole show or just checking out specific exhibits?" "I'm here for the whole experience," I admitted. "I love seeing the blend of new technology and classic designs. There's just so much to take in." "I feel the same way," James agreed. "It's amazing how much innovation there is in the automotive world. It's like watching the future unfold right in front of you." As we chatted, I noticed that James had an easygoing charm. He was passionate about cars, and his enthusiasm was infectious. We found ourselves discussing our favorite models, the thrill of high-speed driving, and the sheer artistry of automotive design. Our conversation flowed effortlessly, and I couldn't help but feel a spark of connection. It was as if we had known each other for much longer than just a few minutes. The noise of the crowd faded into the background as we delved deeper into our shared interests. "I've been coming to this show for years," James said at one point. "But this year feels different. Maybe it's the new models or just the atmosphere, but it feels like there's something special in the air." I smiled, feeling the same sense of anticipation. "I know what you mean. There's a magic to it this time." We continued to explore the exhibits together, exchanging stories and laughs. As we moved from one stunning display to the next, I realized that meeting James had added an unexpected and delightful twist to my day. The auto show had already been exciting, but his company made it even more memorable. Little did I know, this chance encounter was just the beginning of an adventure that would go far beyond the bounds of the exhibition hall. As we continued to explore the auto show, it became clear that James and I had a lot more in common than just our initial admiration for the cars on display. We were both fascinated not only by the sleek designs and powerful engines, but also by the rich history and evolution of automobiles. Our conversations were animated and filled with excitement as we discovered more about each other's interests. After a while, James suggested we take a break and grab a coffee. The idea sounded perfect. I could use a moment to rest and reflect on everything we had seen. We made our way to the relaxation area, which was abuzz with other enthusiasts sharing their own experiences and stories. Settling into a cozy corner with our cups of steaming coffee, James and I continued our conversation. "So, Catherine," James began, "what's your all-time favorite car model?" I took a sip of my coffee, pondering the question. That's a tough one, but I'd have to say the 1965 Ford Mustang. There's just something iconic about it. The design, the power, and the way it revolutionized the car industry. James nodded, his eyes lighting up. "Ah, a classic choice. I can't argue with that. For me, it's the Jaguar E-Type. It's such a beautiful car, and the engineering behind it was way ahead of its time." We delved deeper into our favorites, discussing not only the cars themselves, but also the stories behind them. James shared a particularly interesting story about a road trip he took in his father's old Chevrolet Camaro. "We drove along the Pacific Coast Highway," he said, his eyes distant with the memory. "The wind in our hair, the sound of the waves crashing against the cliffs, and the purr of the engine. It was one of the best experiences of my life." I smiled, imagining the scene. "That sounds amazing. I've always wanted to do a road trip like that. I've had a few memorable drives myself, but one that stands out is when I got to test drive a friend's Porsche 911. It was exhilarating, the way it hugged the road and the sheer thrill of the speed." Our conversation flowed effortlessly, each story sparking another memory or thought. It was clear that our love for cars went beyond mere appreciation. It was a genuine passion that had shaped many of our experiences and memories. We talked about everything from our dream cars to the latest advancements in electric vehicles, losing track of time as we delved into the details. At one point, James leaned back in his chair, a thoughtful expression on his face. "You know, Catherine, it's rare to find someone who shares this level of enthusiasm for cars. It's refreshing to talk to someone who gets it." I nodded in agreement. "I feel the same way. It's not just about the cars themselves, but the stories and experiences that come with them. They're a part of our lives in so many ways." As we finished our coffee, I realized that what had started as a simple conversation had turned into something much deeper. James and I had connected on a level that was both unexpected and exciting. It felt like we had known each other for much longer than just a few hours. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would take us far beyond the confines of the auto show, into a shared passion that would bring us closer together in ways I never imagined. After finishing our coffee, James stood up with a playful grin. "How about we take a little tour of the exhibition? I'd love to show you some of my favorite stands. Plus, we can take some photos to remember the day." I smiled, feeling a rush of excitement. "That sounds like a great idea. Lead the way." We made our way back into the bustling exhibition hall, and James began to guide me through the maze of displays with an enthusiastic and contagious energy. Our first stop was at a stand showcasing vintage Ferraris. The polished red and yellow beauties gleamed under the lights, each one a testament to the craftsmanship and design of a bygone era. "These Ferraris are just stunning," James said, snapping a few photos with his phone. "The lines, the color, everything about them is pure art." I agreed, admiring the sleek curves and the meticulous attention to detail. "They are. There's something timeless about them, like they capture a piece of history." We moved on to a display of futuristic concept cars, which looked like something out of a sci-fi movie. The sleek aerodynamic shapes and innovative technology left us both in awe. "Imagine driving one of these," James said, his eyes wide with wonder. "It's like stepping into the future." I laughed, snapping a photo of him standing next to one of the cars. "I can see you in one of these, for sure. They're incredible." As we continued our tour, James showed me a few more of his favorite stands. We stopped at a display of classic muscle cars, where he took a picture of me next to a bright blue Chevrolet Camaro. "This one's a beauty," he said. "I can see you behind the wheel." I posed with a grin, feeling the excitement of the moment. I wouldn't mind that at all. Next, we visited a section dedicated to electric vehicles. James was particularly interested in this area, and he explained some of the latest advancements in electric car technology. His passion and knowledge were impressive, and I found myself even more drawn to him as he spoke. "I think electric cars are the future," he said. "They're not just environmentally friendly, but also innovative." I nodded, taking in his enthusiasm. "You're right. It's amazing how far they've come. I'm excited to see what's next." We spent the next hour exploring different stands, each one offering something unique and fascinating. From luxury sports cars to rugged off-road vehicles, the exhibition had it all. James and I took countless photos, capturing our favorite moments and marveling at the incredible variety on display. By the time we finally took a break, I felt a deep sense of connection with James. Our shared adventure had been filled with laughter, discovery, and a growing bond that felt effortless and genuine. As we sat down on a bench overlooking the bustling hall, James turned to me with a smile. "I'm really glad we bumped into each other today, Catherine. This has been one of the best days I've had in a long time." I smiled back, feeling the warmth of his words. "Me too, James. It's been an amazing day, and I've loved every minute of it." Little did we know this day was just the beginning of many more adventures to come, each one bringing us closer together and deepening our connection. The auto show had brought us together, but it was our shared passion and the moments we created that would keep us linked long after the exhibition ended. James and I found ourselves standing at the heart of the exhibition, surrounded by the latest advancements in automotive technology. The day had been filled with excitement, and I felt a newfound sense of camaraderie with him. It was clear that our shared passion for cars had sparked a genuine connection, and I was eager to see where the rest of the day would take us. James turned to me, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Catherine, there's one more section I want to show you. It's all about the future of driving autonomous vehicles and cutting-edge innovations. Are you up for it?" I nodded eagerly. "Absolutely. Lead the way." We made our way to a large, futuristic-looking pavilion that housed the latest in autonomous vehicle technology. The first display featured a sleek, self-driving car, its sensors and cameras discreetly integrated into the bodywork. A large screen next to it played a video showcasing the car's capabilities, from navigating busy city streets to cruising along scenic highways without any human intervention. "It's amazing, isn't it?" James said, his voice filled with awe. "The idea that cars can drive themselves, making travel safer and more efficient. It's like something out of a science fiction novel." I agreed, watching the video in fascination. "It's incredible. The technology behind it is mind-blowing. Just think of all the possibilities. Fewer accidents, less traffic congestion, more freedom for people who can't drive." As we moved through the pavilion, we encountered a range of innovative concepts, from cars that could communicate with each other to optimize traffic flow, to advanced electric vehicles with impressive ranges and rapid charging capabilities. Each display seemed to push the boundaries of what I thought was possible, and I found myself inspired by the vision of a more connected and sustainable future. James and I discussed each exhibit in detail, sharing our thoughts and ideas. It was clear that we both had a deep appreciation for not only the technological advancements, but also the potential they held for transforming the way we live and travel. One display in particular caught our attention, a concept car that combined autonomous driving with luxurious comfort. The interior was designed like a high-end lounge, with plush seating, ambient lighting, and a large screen for entertainment or work. It was a vision of a future where cars were not just a means of transportation, but a space to relax and enjoy the journey. "This is incredible," I said, imagining myself in the serene, comfortable interior. "It's like having a mobile living room." James nodded, his eyes reflecting my excitement. "Exactly. It's not just about getting from point A to point B anymore. It's about the experience along the way." As we continued our tour, we found ourselves increasingly in sync, our ideas and interests aligning effortlessly. The day had been a whirlwind of discovery, and I felt a deep sense of connection with James that went beyond our shared love for cars. Eventually, we found ourselves back at the entrance of the pavilion, the sun beginning to set outside. James turned to me with a smile. Catherine, this has been an amazing day. I can't believe how much we've seen and how much we've connected. I smiled back, feeling a warmth in my chest. I feel the same way, James. This has been one of the best experiences I've had in a long time. Thank you for sharing it with me. As we left the exhibition grounds, I knew that this was just the beginning of something special. The day had brought us together, and our shared passions and adventures had laid the foundation for a future filled with endless possibilities. The sun had dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over the exhibition grounds as James and I made our way to the exit. The day had been nothing short of extraordinary, filled with shared excitement and discoveries that had drawn us closer together. As we walked side by side, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of sadness knowing that our time together was coming to an end. We reached the parking lot, and James turned to me with a smile that seemed both happy and a little wistful. Catherine, I've had an amazing time today. I don't think I've ever enjoyed an auto show this much. I smiled back, feeling a mixture of joy and melancholy. Me too, James. This has been one of the best days I've had in a long time. Thank you for making it so special. There was a brief pause as we stood there, the sounds of the exhibition fading into the background. The air was filled with unspoken words and a sense of potential that made the moment feel charged with possibility. I'd like to stay in touch, James said finally, his voice sincere. Would it be all right if I got your phone number? My heart skipped a beat and I nodded eagerly. I'd like that very much. We exchanged numbers, and as I typed his name into my phone, I felt a warm sense of anticipation. This wasn't just a casual goodbye, it was the beginning of something new and exciting. James looked at me, his eyes softening. I hope we can meet up again soon. There's so much more to talk about, and I'd love to hear more of your stories. I'd love that too, I said, my voice filled with genuine enthusiasm. I'm already looking forward to it. We stood there for a moment longer, neither of us wanting to be the first to walk away. Finally, James broke the silence. Take care, Catherine. I'll be in touch soon. You too, James. Drive safe. With one last smile, we parted ways, each heading to our respective cars. As I sat behind the wheel, I took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of excitement and longing. The day had been filled with incredible moments, and meeting James had added an unexpected and delightful twist to my life. As I drove home, the city lights twinkling around me, I replayed our conversations and adventures in my mind. Each memory brought a smile to my face and a warmth to my heart. I knew that this wasn't the end, but rather the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with potential and the promise of more shared experiences. By the time I reached home, I was already eagerly awaiting James's call. The bittersweet farewell had only strengthened my desire to get to know him better, and I felt a sense of excitement about the future. Little did I know, our paths were about to intertwine in ways I could never have imagined, leading to a journey that would take us far beyond the bounds of a simple chance encounter at an auto show. A few days had passed since the auto show, and I couldn't shake the excitement I felt after meeting James. Every time my phone buzzed, I hoped it was him. Finally, one evening, as I was winding down from a long day, my phone lit up with a new message. Hey, Catherine, it's James from the auto show. Hope you're doing well. I had such a great time with you and would love to continue our conversation. How about we chat over text for now? A smile spread across my face as I quickly typed out a reply. Hi, James. I've been looking forward to hearing from you. I had an amazing time too. Chatting sounds perfect. From that moment, our conversations flowed effortlessly. We started by reminiscing about the auto show, sharing our favorite moments, and laughing over the little things that made the day special. It wasn't long before our discussions branched out beyond cars. So, what do you do for fun besides attending awesome auto shows? James asked one evening. I thought for a moment, considering how best to summarize my hobbies. I'm really into hiking and exploring new trails. There's something about being out in nature that's incredibly refreshing. I also enjoy cooking. Experimenting with new recipes is my kind of adventure in the kitchen. What about you? James replied quickly. That sounds great. I'm a bit of an outdoor enthusiast myself. I love rock climbing and kayaking, anything that gets my adrenaline going. And I'm a bit of a history buff. I enjoy visiting museums and reading about different eras. It's fascinating to see how history shapes our present. As we continued to text, we discovered more common interests and shared experiences. We talked about our favorite movies, books, and even our most memorable travel adventures. James told me about a solo road trip he took across the country, visiting national parks and sleeping under the stars. It was one of the most freeing experiences, he wrote. Just me, my car, and the open road. Have you ever done anything like that? I smiled, thinking back to a similar trip I took with friends a few years ago. Yes, a couple of friends and I took a road trip along the West Coast. We camped out, explored coastal towns, and made so many incredible memories. There's something magical about road trips, the spontaneity and the sense of freedom. Our conversations grew deeper with each passing day. We shared our hopes and dreams, our fears and insecurities. It was amazing how easily we connected, even through the digital screen. James had a way of making me feel understood and valued, and I hoped I was doing the same for him. One night, as we discussed our favorite childhood memories, James sent a message that made my heart skip a beat. You know, Catherine, I feel like we've known each other for much longer than just a few days. I enjoy talking to you. I felt a warmth spread through me as I replied. I feel the same way, James. It's rare to find someone you can connect with so effortlessly. I'm really glad we met. As the weeks went by, our bond only grew stronger. What started as a shared interest in cars had blossomed into a meaningful connection. We made plans to meet up again soon, eager to continue our journey together in person. Little did we know, this was just the beginning of something truly special. Our next adventure was waiting just around the corner, ready to take us further down the road of discovery and connection. The day of our first date arrived with a mix of excitement and nervous anticipation. James and I had chosen a cozy cafe downtown, a place known for its warm ambiance and delicious food. As I walked through the door, I spotted him immediately, sitting at a corner table with a welcoming smile. Catherine, it's so good to see you, James greeted, standing up to hug me. His embrace felt comforting and familiar, like we had been friends for years. Hi, James. I'm really happy to see you too, I replied, feeling my nerves at ease as I settled into the chair across from him. The cafe had a charming rustic feel, with wooden beams and soft lighting. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee and baked goods filled the air, creating an inviting atmosphere that made it easy to relax. We ordered our meals and began to chat, picking up right where our texts had left off. Our conversation flowed effortlessly, moving from light topics to more personal ones. James shared stories from his rock climbing adventures, and I told him about my favorite hiking trails. We laughed over funny travel mishaps and bonded over our mutual love for exploring new places. So, tell me more about your cooking experiments, James said with genuine interest as our food arrived. What's the most memorable dish you've ever made? I chuckled, recalling a particularly ambitious attempt. I once tried to make a multi-layered cake for a friend's birthday. It was supposed to be this elegant masterpiece, but it ended up looking like a leaning tower. Surprisingly, it tasted amazing, though. James laughed, his eyes twinkling with amusement. I'd love to try one of your creations someday. Maybe we could cook together sometime? I'd like that, I replied, feeling a warm glow at the thought of sharing such a personal hobby with him. As we finished our meal, the conversation turned more intimate. We talked about our families, our dreams for the future, and the experiences that had shaped us. James opened up about his love for history and how it had influenced his perspective on life. I shared my passion for nature and how it helped me find balance and peace. Catherine, I enjoy talking to you, James said softly, his eyes meeting mine. It's rare to find someone you can connect with on so many levels. I feel the same way, James, I replied, my heart swelling with affection. This has been a wonderful evening. After that first date, our meetings became a regular occurrence. We explored new restaurants, went on hikes, and even visited a few museums together. Each time we met, our bond grew stronger, and it became clear that our connection was deepening into something more than just friendship. One evening, after a particularly beautiful hike, we sat on a hill overlooking the city, watching the sunset paint the sky with vibrant hues of orange and pink. James turned to me, a serious, yet tender expression on his face. Catherine, I have to tell you something, he began, taking my hand in his. These past few weeks have been incredible. I feel like we've created something really special, and I can't imagine not having you in my life. My heart raced as I looked into his eyes, seeing the sincerity in them. I feel the same way, James. I've never felt such a strong connection with anyone before. It's like we're meant to be in each other's lives. With that, James leaned in and kissed me, a gentle and loving gesture that confirmed what we both already knew. Our relationship had blossomed into something beautiful and profound. As we sat there, wrapped in each other's arms, I knew that this was just the beginning of a wonderful journey together. As the weeks turned into months, James and I found ourselves navigating the complexities of a growing relationship. We had shared so many wonderful moments, but like any couple, we faced our fair share of challenges. It began to dawn on us that, despite our strong connection, our differing views on the future and career ambitions could create friction. One evening, after a long day at work, I met James at a quiet park, where we often went to unwind. We sat on a bench watching the sunset, the colors of the sky reflecting our mixed emotions. "Catherine, we need to talk," James began, his voice serious yet gentle. "I've been thinking a lot about where we're headed, and I think it's time we discussed our plans for the future." I nodded, sensing the weight of his words. "I've been thinking about that too. There are things we need to figure out." James took a deep breath before continuing. "You know how much I love my job and how important it is to me. My career in historical research is something I've been passionate about for years, and it's not just a job, it's my calling. But I've also noticed that our career paths might be taking us in different directions." I felt a pang of anxiety as I listened to him. My career in environmental conservation was equally important to me. It was my way of making a difference in the world, and I couldn't imagine giving it up. "I understand, James. I feel the same way about my work. It's not just a job, it's a part of who I am. I want to make a positive impact on the environment, and that often means being on the move, working on different projects in various locations." Our eyes met, and I could see the concern mirrored in his. "So what do we do?" he asked, his voice tinged with uncertainty. I sighed, feeling the weight of the situation pressing down on us. "I don't know. We need to find a way to support each other's ambitions without sacrificing our dreams. It's going to be challenging, but I believe we can work through it if we're both committed." James nodded, taking my hand in his. "I believe that too, Catherine. We've come so far together, and I don't want to lose what we have. Maybe we can find a compromise, something that allows us to pursue our careers while staying connected." We spent the next few weeks having many heart-to-heart conversations, trying to find common ground. It wasn't easy. There were moments of frustration and doubt, but there were also moments of understanding and reassurance. One evening, as we sat in my living room surrounded by papers and maps of potential job locations, James looked at me with determination. "I'm willing to make some sacrifices if it means we can be together. Maybe I can take on more remote research projects, ones that allow me to travel with you. It's not a perfect solution, but it's a start." I felt a surge of hope at his words. "And I'm willing to look for projects that keep me closer to home, at least for a while. We don't have to figure everything out all at once. We can take it one step at a time." Our willingness to compromise and support each other's dreams became the cornerstone of our relationship. We realized that the love we had for each other was strong enough to withstand the challenges we faced. It wasn't always easy, but it was worth it. As we navigated these uncertain waters, we grew even closer, learning more about each other and ourselves in the process. The challenges we faced became growth opportunities, strengthening the bond we shared. In the end, we knew that our love was worth fighting for, and together, we were ready to face whatever the future held. It was a crisp autumn afternoon, and James and I had planned a cozy day in. The trees outside my apartment were painted in shades of orange and gold, their leaves gently falling to the ground. As we sat on the couch, wrapped in a soft blanket, James seemed unusually quiet, as if he was building up to something important. "Catherine," he began, his tone both excited and nervous, "I have something for you." I looked at him curiously. "Oh, what is it?" He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small, elegantly wrapped box. "I've been thinking about this for a while, and wanted to give you something special, something that represents how much you mean to me." My heart fluttered as I took the box from him, my fingers trembling slightly. I carefully unwrapped the paper, revealing a beautiful, intricately designed keychain. It was shaped like a small car, a nod to our shared passion that had brought us together in the first place. Attached to it was a tiny charm of a tree, symbolizing my love for nature and the environment. "James, this is beautiful," I whispered, touched by the thoughtfulness behind the gift. "It's perfect." "There's more," he said, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. "Look inside the box." I lifted the lid and found a folded piece of paper tucked beneath the keychain. Unfolding it, I saw that it was a map, marked with a route leading through various national parks and historic sites. At the end of the route was a small heart. "I know how much you love road trips and nature," James explained. "I've planned a trip for us. We'll visit some of your favorite places and discover new ones together. It's a way for us to combine our passions and create new memories." I felt tears welling up in my eyes as I looked at him, overwhelmed by his thoughtfulness. "James, this is the most amazing gift anyone has ever given me. Thank you." He took my hands in his expression sincere. "I wanted to give you something that shows how much I care about you and our relationship. This trip is just the beginning of many more adventures together." I leaned in and kissed him, my heart overflowing with love and gratitude. "I can't wait to go on this journey with you, James. It means so much to me." As we sat there, holding each other and imagining the incredible places we would visit, I knew that this gift was more than just a keychain and a map. It was a symbol of our commitment to each other, a promise of many more shared experiences and cherished moments. James's gift not only brought us closer, but also reminded me of the deep connection we shared. It was a testament to the love we had built and the future we were excited to explore together. The months that followed were a period of growth and understanding for James and me. Our initial struggles and disagreements led to some deep and honest conversations. We faced our challenges head-on, discussing our different views on the future and career ambitions. The process wasn't always smooth, but it was through this dialogue that we learned to truly listen to each other and find common ground. One evening, after a particularly intense day at work, we decided to take a walk through our favorite park. The park was a refuge for us, a place where we could escape the hustle and bustle of daily life and find peace in each other's company. The sun was setting, casting a golden hue over the landscape, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. As we strolled along the winding path, James broke the comfortable silence between us. "Catherine, I've been reflecting on everything we've been through. I realize how much we've learned and grown together." I smiled, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "I agree, James. It hasn't been easy, but our willingness to communicate and find compromises has strengthened our relationship. I feel more connected to you than ever." Our journey had not been without its trials. We had spent countless evenings discussing our individual career goals and aspirations. James, deeply passionate about his work in historical research, had been hesitant about making any adjustments that might compromise his career. On the other hand, my career in environmental conservation required flexibility and frequent travel, which posed its own set of challenges. We explored various solutions to harmonize our professional lives. James agreed to take on remote research projects, which allowed him to travel with me occasionally. This compromise provided him with the flexibility he needed while also letting us share new experiences. In return, I adjusted my project schedule to include more local assignments, giving us time to focus on our relationship and enjoy each other's company. One sunny afternoon, we decided to visit a charming cafe that had recently opened in town. It was a quaint little place with rustic furniture, soft jazz music playing in the background, and a welcoming atmosphere. We ordered our coffee and settled into a cozy corner, the warmth of the cafe contrasting with the cool autumn breeze outside. As we sipped our drinks and chatted, the conversation naturally drifted to the progress we had made. James looked at me with a thoughtful expression, his eyes reflecting both his admiration and his sense of fulfillment. "Catherine, I've been thinking about how far we've come. It's amazing to see how we've managed to blend our passions and make it work." I nodded, my heart swelling with emotion. "Yes, it's been a wonderful journey. We've faced challenges, but we've also created so many beautiful memories. It feels like we're truly building something special." James took a deep breath, his gaze steady and sincere. "I want to continue this journey with you, Catherine. I want us to keep growing together, supporting each other, and building a future that we both cherish." His words filled me with a profound sense of joy. I reached across the table, taking his hand in mine. "I want that too, James. I'm excited about what the future holds for us. Together, we can make our dreams come true and create a life filled with love and adventure." We spent the rest of the afternoon discussing our plans and dreams, envisioning a future where we could continue to explore both our passions and shared interests. We talked about potential road trips, new projects, and even starting a community initiative that combined our love for history and environmental conservation. As we walked hand in hand through the city streets later that day, I felt a deep sense of contentment. Our relationship had been tested, but it had emerged stronger and more resilient. We had found our balance, blending our passions and aspirations into a harmonious partnership. The future was bright, and we were ready to embrace it together. Our love for cars had brought us together, but it was our commitment to each other and our shared dreams that would guide us forward. We were prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that we had each other to lean on. With hearts full of hope and a shared vision for the future, James and I looked forward to the many adventures that awaited us. Our story was far from over, and I knew that as long as we were together, it would be filled with love, understanding, and countless cherished moments. As we continued our walk, the city lights twinkling around us, I realized that we had truly found our way, not just in love, but in life.